Hey guys, and welcome to the fourth part of the series of perspective training and understanding the scene. Okay, and what I quickly want to show you guys in this video is the duplication technique, and this is done after we've reversed engineered all the grids from these photographs. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the concept of the duplication technique, and then we're going to see if this is true using the real image here to see how this concept is applied. And then I'm going to actually build on one of these grids that we reversed engineer using this concept of duplication. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing that I want to do is actually show you guys the concept of duplication. All right. So I took two of these cubes exactly the same size, and what I did was I had this one, and then I placed another one just beside that, and then I took this photo in perspective so that we can see, okay, these two cubes are exactly the same size, and what is the effect that this has in when these parallel lines converge. Okay, so now what I want to do is when I design and invent and draw on my own grids, I want to be able to take the same square or the same cube and dimension and duplicate it somehow. Okay, so I don't want to measure things and use rulers, all those things. There's a technique that we can use to duplicate this, and we can duplicate in all directions. All right. Okay, so first of all, what we need to know is we need to know the basic divisions of a rectangle. Okay, how to divide a rectangle properly. Okay, also squared, but so okay, by dividing this thing we're going to find center. All right, and how we find the center point is we connect these points. Okay, easy. Left, well, we connect the points that are opposite each other, we connect them, and where they intersect each other you will find center point. Okay, so now we know how to find center on all these squares. Okay, so let's quickly find center on this square, right? Okay, because the concept is basically what you can do in a 2D view, okay, or an orthographic view like this, we can also do in perspective. So if I have perspective, those two lines converge to a vanishing point, and I've got this rectangle here. I can actually just connect up these corners and find center in perspective as well. Okay, so now if I draw a line vertically through this point, okay, and I'm following these lines, staying true. If this was a 3-point perspective, then I would have done something else. Well, it needed to converge to a point then. And now what I've done is I divided this rectangle in half, right? So this is half and this is half. Now if I draw a line through horizontally, I divided this in half. Okay, actually the rectangle I divided in half. So now you just have to keep track of things. So remember, all physical parallel lines converge to a single point. So these guys go to a point somewhere. Okay, and this is why it was important to figure out the grid and know exactly where the vanishing points are, so that we can actually I can demonstrate the concept to you guys. But basically this point needs to, or this line, if I want to divide this horizontally, this line, which is parallel to this line and converge to the same point, needs to converge to that point actually. And I'm just going to take a guess now. But for when you're a beginner and you start out, you have to actually find the point and see this. So there I've divided and this rectangle in perspective as well. Okay, so let's do this on our real life concept. Okay, verticals are parallel to the picture plane, okay, because it's a 2-point perspective. So this is quite easy. I just drop in a vertical. like that. And for this grid, I already established that oops, cut that off. That the vanishing point is somewhere way to the right. Just give that a second. Alright, so the vanishing point is actually here. So if I connect this vanishing point back to this point, okay, then I've got the correct line that converges there. Okay, so now I can just extend this properly, and I've divided this rectangle in space horizontally, okay, half and vertically, yes. Okay, so let's do this for the 3-point perspective. So connect up these corners, find center point, there it is. Okay, this line needs to connect to the vanishing point now because the verticals are converging. Oops. Just doing this, and then I'm just going to extend this line up, okay, to divide it in half. Okay, same thing if I want to go to, if I want to divide this horizontally, I need to go back to the vanishing point. So this was the horizontal line, this was the vanishing point, so I just connect that up, and then I can extend this. Okay, so exactly what I did here, I'm actually doing on these grids, using these grids to do this. So there's a nice surface that I can subdivide. Alright, okay, center point needs to go back to the right vanishing point, mix up there, and connect. So now I know that this half and this half is exactly the same on this grid. Okay, don't even have to bother double checking this. This is the technique. I'm going to extend that, and you will see actually that this point and this point will connect up. So that's correct. Alright. Okay, so this is just subdividing, and I can do this with all these boxes. Alright. Even with this top here. Okay. If you've got 2 points, you connect that center point. Now I can see I've already established this point. So if I just draw a straight line through these points, I will actually, I don't need to go back to the vanishing point. I just need to keep a straight line through those two, and then I find the division. Alright. Okay. This one needs to go to the right vanishing point so that I can actually know, so that I don't draw a skew line on here. Alright. Okay. So let's go on. Then okay, so this is basic division. So now what I want to do is I want to actually take this square or this rectangle, and I want to duplicate it. I want to take one of these lines, one of the sides, like this edge or this edge or this edge, and I want to use this as a mirror line or a symmetry line, or think of this as the fold of a book. Okay, so I want to bring one of these sides, want to flip it over and duplicate this. All right, so I'm going to duplicate down in this example, or to the left, because that's where I have space on this paper. So the first thing I need to do is I want to extend the lines in the direction that I want to duplicate. Okay, so I'm just going to extend this, doesn't matter how far, just estimate the width that you actually are going to come down, it's fine. And then what I want to do is, this is the trick, you want to find center point on the fold line. Okay, so you want to find the center, and we did that by connecting those points, found center there, and then dividing this this section, or this line, or this rectangle. And now I'm just going to take one of the opposite corners, this one or this one, doesn't matter, and I'm going to go I'm going to draw a line through the center point on this fold line, and I'm going to connect to the one of the lines that I extended. Alright, so let's do that. So I'm I'm going to go through this point, from this point, through center line, and then at this intersection, this point, I'm going to draw a line parallel to the picture plane or to the rectangle, and there you have it. I just duplicated this rectangle down. Okay, so they are the same dimension. Okay, it all depends on how well I connected this point and all those things, but this is the technique. And we're going to show you just now how it works on that side. So let's quickly just go to the left. Alright, so I'm going to extend to the left. This is the way I want to go. Now this line here is the fold line, so I need to find center on that line. So by having this first rectangle divided up, there's the center point, already found that. So one of these points, okay, this is the fold of the book, so I want to flip over. So this line connects through that line, and then I'm just going to come vertically up, and I successfully duplicated to the left. Alright, so I can do this to the right, I can do this to the top. Okay, this is the method. If I want to go to the top, this is the center line, this is the fold line now, this is the direction. I want to go to the top, so I will take one of these points and go through center point and just draw a line there. Alright, so again, everything I can do in an orthographic view. Okay, so think of the first video, the foundations video, where we talked about the basic views, front, top, side, the flat 2D grid. Okay, if I can do it in this grid, I can do it in perspective as well. So let's quickly do one here. On this one, I'm going to go down. So center is already established. This is now my fold line. So I'm going to draw one of these lines. I'm going to take through the center point. Doesn't matter which one. You will notice that the one line that you're going to have to draw is a little bit longer than the other. So it's better to take the shorter one. This will be a longer line to draw. Okay, so there it connected up to the side that I extended, and now this line needs to go to the correct vanishing point. Okay, so you can already see it's a little bit more difficult now, because now I'm just going to estimate, but this can perhaps miss that point. Alright, so just know that this needs to go back. I'm just going to show you guys. I'm just going to take a guess. Okay, but we're going to do this right here now. So let's just quickly test this. Okay, let's just quickly see if this is correct in fact. So that's why I've taken two of these cubes and put them close to each other. So I'm going to reverse the concept on these real life images now. So I'm going to find center point. I'm going to go to the correct vanishing point, which is this one. I'm going to connect this up. Alright, okay, so there's the center point on this line. So one of these lines I'm going to have to go through, and then it should actually add up there. Okay, so let's do this. And there you can see, okay, if my there you go. Okay. So there you can see it actually hits that point spot on. If I go vertically up, because these lines are vertical and parallel to each other, then I successfully duplicated in space. Alright, so if I take this photo away, then you can see this whole technique works. Alright, and this is what I just explained to you guys here. So now we can actually confidently use this method. Okay, but let's do another one. So let's test it on this one also. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to reverse, or I'm going to use the technique. I'm going to go down and see if this worked when we placed it this side. Okay, so there's center point. Okay, these lines are vertical and parallel to each other, so it's easy enough. I can just drop down a line. There's center. Now I'm going to take one of these sides, and I'm going to connect through them. Alright, so I went through, hit center, and there you can see it lined up perfectly. Alright, so this division technique, finding center and fold over, definitely works. So now it's just let's do it on the 3-point perspective as well before we go on. So I'll show you guys on all the grids. So let's go up, or let's use this side to go down. Okay, so I'm just going to take this point, connect it to that point, and this one to this one. The center point. Okay, so this point needs to go to the vanishing point way down here. Alright. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so now I need to take one of these points through the center line. And then it should be able to hit, should hit up that point there. Oops. Alright, perfect. Okay, so it didn't hit it there or there or there, it was actually quite spot on. So even the side, I can even take this side. If I see a rectangle or square or something, I can divide this up and I can use this technique. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this technique, okay, the one that we just proven, and we're going to take this cube and we're going to duplicate in all the directions, okay, or up or left or any one of those directions. And then this is to me now a state of design and invention. Okay, invention. Lazy to write. Because what we've done here is we've reversed engineered the shot. Okay, we've taken a photograph and reversed engineered the grid. So I found the horizon line, the left vanishing point, right vanishing point. I've labeled the grid. I know this is a 2-point perspective. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to this grid. I'm going to use this technique to duplicate this square around. All right. So I'm going to invent and design more blocks, more cubes on this grid. All right. Same size, actually the same dimensions as this cube. And I'm going to do it on this one as well. All right. So there's already 2 of them. So I'm going to work on these 2 quickly, just to show you the effect. Okay, so now we are set up with everything. Let's take another color so that we can see what we're actually doing. Nice bright yellow. So let's say, alright, I'm going to do exactly the same what I've done here. I'm going to take this cube and I'm going to put another one next to it. Okay, so this is quite simple. So this line, okay, I'm just going to make sure that I didn't connect this line to the right vanishing point, so I'm just going to quickly connect this up, because this is the important part, is to work on a proper constructed grid. Alright, so there's the line, and this line we already found. Alright, so this is the direction that I want to duplicate in, and because this is a box, I can actually, you could either duplicate the top or the back if we did all construction, or the front, doesn't matter. You use the side or the plane that you are actually most comfortable with. Alright, so I'm just going to use the top, and then it's quite easy. If I found this side, I can just connect back to the left vanishing point and complete the box. Alright, so what do we need? We need center point, and we need the symmetry line, this fold line, the direction in which we want to go, and we need the center point on that. So by I already found this point actually. This is now my fold line or my center line, and this is the point that I already constructed. So now I'm going to take one of these sides and go through here. Alright, so you can see from going from this corner all the way to this side, if you can just imagine this line and you imagine this line, you can see that going from the top down is going to be a shorter line. You can actually take that and measure it out. So I'm just going to, I want to draw the shorter line because I'm relying on freehand sketching, and the shorter the line, the more accurate I can actually draw this. So I'm just going to make sure I do this right. Okay, and now easy enough. Okay, this is not a 3-point perspective like in this one. This is the verticals of parallel to the picture plane. So all I need to do is I just need to go straight up. Easy. Now there's a point. This connects back to this left vanishing point. And because we already found that line, it just connects up there. Come down straight. I just need to find this bottom, this back line. Just need to know where that is. Remember, it's not this line. It can be confusing. But I need to take that corner back to this vanishing point. And this is me constructing on this grid now. I have to follow these rules. And there you can see the difference. Okay, so this line can come down at the back. And this is actually where this box is. Now I've got 2 points here. Don't need to really go back to in perspective, okay, because I already found those lines. But let's test this. Okay, you can see this is a thinner line, and perhaps that was a thicker line. Because this was a little bit constructed, I think this was the one that gave me that problem. Yes. So let's quickly just see the difference. Alright, okay, but I'm just going to correct it lightly. It was the grid that actually gave me the problem. Alright, so now I can finish this up, and what I did was essentially this. Alright, so I duplicated this box to the right, and I figured out or designed all the dimensions and the things that I need to properly construct further on this. So now if I want to go on this line and I want to subdivide this, I can even do a diagonal there. I know that this line needs to go back to that vanishing point and to find a point there, and this one as well, and then I can actually cut this box. Okay, but it just means that I can find points in space and subdivide. I can even divide this one further, find center point on this line. Okay, I already did. And then I can move through that point again and come up, and I duplicate this another time. So you can duplicate as many times as you want, right? As long as you have center point and you have a point on this side, you can just keep on until it vanishes. Alright, so I've duplicated this box 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Those lines are already constructed, so the most difficult part will be to take these ones back to the left vanishing point, and then you've got your 4 cubes. Alright, so let's do this on the 3-point perspective as well. Let's check. I actually drew into this one now. Alright, so same thing. What I'm going to do is I did find center point on that line before. Okay, these lines I see connect back to the right vanishing point, already established. So now I'm just going to take one of these 2 points and move through that line. So just connect down like that. Alright, now the thing to remember is I can't go up vertically because I need to converge to a right vanishing point. So I'm just going to take that point, I'm going to do my conversions, and then I'm just going to extend. Alright, oops. I need to extend to the right line. And there you've got it. Alright. Now it's quite simple. I've got this point. This point needs to connect to this left vanishing point. And you can see how important it is to know the grid, or to properly construct the grid, because it makes everything else just so much easier. So this point was created. This one at the back I don't have. You can see that. So I just quickly go to the vanishing point. Okay, now I've got this. So there's a point and there's a point. And now I can just connect these up. Okay, and you can see it's actually going to follow the same conversion. I don't need to go way back down, and you can see how nice this box was actually constructed. And you can see this nice 3-point perspective. Okay, I don't have a 3-point perspective on this, but in the previous examples we did have one, so you can go double check if you want. And then there's my box. Okay, so now this center line, which one I used, we already have that one, and we have this point, so I can just keep on going. So now I just have to remember this line needs to go to the vanishing point. Okay, so the yellow is a bit, I have to extend this line. Okay, ignore the other lines. There's a point, and I need to go back to this side, and this line needs to connect with the line somewhere. So if I take this one down to the vanishing point, I will get the intersection there, and I can just finish up the box. But this is starting to look like this is design. So I can start building things. I can put things together. I can take away. I can let's say I want to move this up. All right, okay, like a backwards L lying on its back or something. So now what I have to do is I have to extend these vertical lines. So I'm just going to follow this a little bit and then just draw my line. Same thing here. I'm just going to follow this third vanishing point line a bit, and it was the, not the purple one, the light gray one. Right, light gray one, follow that. Okay, so now I've extended into the direction that I want to go. This third one also needs to go somewhere up there. Follow the same convergence. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to duplicate up. So I've did all the construction on this one already. So it's not necessary to do all the construction lines again this side. But in fact, I did find a center point there. So I can bring one of these points up, or I can use one of these. I can go through here, up. It depends. This is up to you. So I'm going to use the front one. So this is the two lines that I will need to connect. Just want to make sure I do a proper job, and there's the connection. So this needs to go back to the right vanishing point so that I can get the right line, and then I'm just going to extend this, and there's the point. Now I have to go back to this vanishing point, left vanishing point, connect this up. This needs to go back again, and there at the back you'll see there's a corner now, and there's a corner, and I can just connect these two. Don't have to go back again to the left. Oops, there you go. So you can see this actually looks correct in space as well. This is because I'm looking through the same camera. I'm actually using the same lens. So now what I've done is I've constructed this shape. Okay, I'll go all the way to the third one. You can actually see it's like an L. And you can go on and on duplicating. You can actually, if you don't have to duplicate the same size. Let's say you wanted to design something in here, but you want this rectangle to be in here as well. Okay, so easy enough, you can just divide this and you will get this section. But let's just practice duplication. So I'm going to find center. So these two corners connect, there's center point, going to come straight out. Now I just bring one of these sides over, come up, extend this line, and now I've duplicated this small rectangle inside this one. Alright. So you can actually, let's go, I came down once, I just want to take half of this block and come down again. So I'm just going to extend this line. So now I found center point. Now I just need to, if I take these 2 points and go through, I'm going to duplicate the same box. But I just want to duplicate half of that. So I'm going to find a point there. So now I've got these lines that I want to go through, take through. So this is half the box. Okay, a little bit too far. Okay, and then I come down. So here you can see a full box and a half box, half a side or whatever. And this I can do here as well. I can do it on this, on any of these constructed grids. All right. Okay, so that's the duplication method, and based on everything that we've done in this video, so hopefully this is helpful to you guys to just start to see these things. You can take any type of photographs and do the same thing. You can take a photograph of tiles or stone or runway or something, and you will find all these points, and you will be able to reconstruct the grid, the camera. Okay, so that's essentially what we want to do. Is we want to find the camera that we use to look at this object, for instance, or the one that actually took the photo of the landscape, and then we want to use it and see how it works, and just learn from it. Actually, if you see a great shot in a movie or something, just try to figure out what makes that shot so incredible. All right, and start with the basics. Start with the fundamentals. Okay, so now eventually it just gets easier to set up your own grids if you get used to them, alright? And you get used to that, seeing that conversions, and you will be able to duplicate in space. Okay, so much easier. And all these things are based on a little bit of understanding and knowledge. Alright. So now you can start building things and taking away. And this duplication method is actually the foundation, or the beginning part of more duplication tricks and multiplying tricks that we're going to use. So if try to understand this and try to use it as much as you can, so that you actually know every aspect of this and where to apply it, how to apply it, and how to start seeing seeing rectangles all over. Okay, so for instance, in this example, let's say I wanted to duplicate these two boxes, these two cubes as one immediately, like one shot. I don't want to duplicate one small box 4 times. I just or 2 times. I just wanted to take this whole rectangle, okay, and duplicate it once. Okay, so that's quite simple and that's quite easy. So you just need to find center on this line. Okay, so this is, you just choose which line is your center line or your fold line now. Okay, so if you want to do it once, then this is the center line and you're going to take this side through it. If you want to use this as the fold line but you want to take this side through it, then you're going to use one of these corners, come through the middle, connect up there, and now instead of duplicating this small box 2 more times, I actually took this whole box and duplicated it once. Alright, the same concept applies to a rectangle. If there was a big rectangle like this, okay, I can find center. This is the fold line. Then if I want to go in that direction, find center, duplicate this whole thing over. Okay, doesn't matter about the scale, doesn't matter. It's all about having a rectangle and finding that point and going through. Alright. Okay guys, thanks for watching. It's a very technical series, this, but it's the building blocks. It's the start of the journey to becoming a better artist, to becoming a better designer, and to actually visually communicate what's in your head. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this. Practice. You have to practice these things a lot. Work on your draftsmanship, like penmanship, like straight lines, freehand, because at the end of the day we want to draw quickly, and we want to be able to use these tricks and not measurements and rulers and all those things. to give us a sense of the dimension and all those accurate details. We want to actually work precise and accurate, but want to use shortcuts. All right. Okay. Have a nice day and enjoy.